Yeah, there's one there and I've got co-chairs for them. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. I hate to shut down a good man trying to make money, but oh my gosh.
I do.
How could he even think that was legal?
Are you?
Good to see you.
Did they get that?
Yeah, big old box truck. Oh, okay. From his part.
I'm not. Well, I've seen people because you've probably been there a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Yes.
That's really nice. Yeah.
Yep. I'm waiting for the 4:30 to click over. Well, I think it's stuck on 429.
I think it's going all down too.
Did it click? All right, let me finish writing my.
Get on it.
Joelle, how come your orders for the outside project
That's fun.
in your packet where it goes?
Yeah, that's a fun little.
And then I'll pass the rest out.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, if everyone would please stand, I'm gonna ask Ms. Whitney Leggett to come forward and do our pledge of allegiance this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing. I'm going to ask our special projects manager, Mike Flynn, to come forward, or that's okay with you, Mike, and do our invocation, please.
We come to you tonight, thank you for a good day that you've given us, for the sunshine, for the opportunity to live in the country that we live in. We pray tonight as we look at the business of the city that you would watch over, guide, and direct us as we make decisions and inform the public. And then, Lord, pray for those within our midst, families and those that are sick, that you would bless them. And then, Lord, our employees, may you bless the staff here. And Lord, just thank you for your mercy, for your goodness, for your guidance through the days that we live. We'll give you thanks tonight for what you do. It's in Jesus' name I make my prayer.
Amen.
Thank you, Mike. Please be seated. We'll call the meeting officially to order. And let's look at the minutes from March 4th, 2025, special 4:30 and regular 5:30 meetings. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Cox. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chanel. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries. Item 3A through J. Is there anything anyone would like to highlight before I take the motion? Okay, seeing none. Is there a motion to approve departmental and agency reports? Motion by Commissioner Strode. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Toole. Anything, anyone, again, last chance, highlight? If not, motion approved. Item 4A, again, this is,
Excuse me, we didn't take a vote. We have a motion and a second.
okay, all in favor? Any opposed by a like sign? Thank you,
Thank you.
Madam Clerk. Okay, item 4A through 4E, informational items only. Anything anyone would like to highlight in these? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Toole. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. All in favor, aye. Any opposed by a like sign? Motion carries. Item 5, we go into our work session, and this evening, we have the lovely Alicia May
our finance director gonna come forward and talk to us about getting prepared for the new budget. Alicia, it's all yours.
So I've got a couple of things to discuss and kind of get a direction on. So in, our audit, and you all, I know, like during our presentation, that he told us to really focus on the transfers for our new fiscal year. The city manager and we've been all working very diligently on the budget. So far, the department heads, they've been working on their budget, and we are at the point of the transfers. So the other day, the city manager and I sat down, we sat down and we discussed a better option for transfers. And just to clarify on the transfers, are those outside of the departmental budgets, and so they're not one of our departments, but we call them our transfers. I don't know why we call them transfers, it was before my time. So we had an idea to kind of separate these from each other. So we had a idea of, we have these ones that we are in a shared agreement with, or that are like city, county, partnerships or stuff like that. So we would like.
That would be like parks.
It's like Parks and Rec, GIS,
Okay.
stuff like that,
Animal
shelter, DES for emergency services, stuff like that. I have a spreadsheet for you all as well. I would like to start calling those shared services agreements. So that they are kind of away from our transfers. These are supposed to, we've already got agreements in place, or they're partnerships, or something that we need to participate in order for them to function. So I have a spreadsheet for you all. These are our transfers at the moment. I just pulled that entire line item. The green ones are what I would consider the shared service agreements. So anything green is what I consider I shared on service agreement, and if it's not green, it is part of the transfers, and then anything that is on that's a mark get out is something that they did not request a budget on funding for on this year. And you see page 2, I've got totals. If we gave exactly the same amount to the same amount of people, we would have a little over the 1.3 to our shared services agreements, and then close to 250,000 for the non-service agreements. And that is for this fiscal year. This is what we've given, or what we've budgeted for.
That's like BCTC.
It's got the BCTC
Pregnancy Care Center.
program,
Okay.
farmers markets on there. I love Labor Day. And if you all don't agree with the green highlights, I think that something should be highlighted, then I'd be glad to discuss those, and I'll make sure that we're all in agreement on what's a shared services agreement and what would be outside of that shared services agreement. They're called council for the
only ones
Oh, okay.
I would think that maybe we would want the well, I can't
You can tell me, I can
find it now. It's hold on. I was looking for it. I looked.
Which one is it?
It's for the youth and elderly.
Project.
The nursing, I come up,
That's nursing.
ombudsman.
Well, that's
That's what you said.
That is-
On projects is on 0 on 29.
That is the ombudsman?
Yes, ma'am.
isn't that also what we do for the Meals on Wheels stuff that we talked about at the,
I don't think so, Shannon. I think it's different. Isn't
That's-
it
yeah,
different?
that
Oh,
comes to
that,
the generation.
that would be in the Kentucky
And
River
youth
for
and
the
elderly.
aging services.
okay, maybe that was it. Is that green? You're, okay,
It is not
yeah,
white.
yeah,
It is not green.
I'd like,
It's up there.
yeah,
At the
yeah,
top.
I was looking, yeah,
That means the
One of
county
them is
doesn't
green and the
put
other one
anything
is
to it.
not green. I do like have the transit service as green because that is a partnership like we do put in on the transit service
Yeah.
for the bus that goes around on the town into Lexington and stuff. But I didn't put the aging services. I know that one's, I'd be willing to talk about that one for sure.
And what are you suggesting? we do?
well, I think that's a joint effort with us and the court too, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
Yes,
Always has
The generation center is?
yes,
been. Yes.
yeah,
I don't know what the agreement is there. so.
I'm not for sure if they're agreeing with it. I don't,
I,
I remember,
I think the court owns the building, correct? Isn't that right?
yes.
They own the Generation Center building itself.
I'd be glad to make that one.
So what you
one
want to
of this
do?
as well.
I'd like to make that a green one,
A green one?
yeah. You know,
The
just,
youth and elderly
what, no,
or
the
aging?
aging,
Aging,
other meals,
the Meals on
43.5.007.
Wheels.
yeah,
For Meals on Wheels. Is that what you're,
yeah.
That's fine.
anybody, everybody okay with that? Everybody chime in here. Yeah.
I think that's a viable
Okay, make it green,
thing, you know.
right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Are we all okay with the title shared? Services agreements?
I personally like that because it separates it.
Yeah.
Don't you all think it separates it?
Yes.
I just think it's a lot better than calling it a transfer.
No,
So what are we trying to?
shared services,
Like,
because that's what it is.
Shared service agreements, and these are just on the green ones. So if we're all kind of in agreement. There.
Let me come down here and ask about museum. I'm a little confused about the line there.
It'll come out of the other category.
Where's it?
Amount. Number 32 on the front page, Woodruff Heritage Museum.
Yes, sir.
So, huh?
Oh. What about it?
So how much are we talking about giving them?
Well, no, like this is what we had budgeted for last year.
Oh,
This
okay.
current fiscal year.
Okay.
I wanted you all to understand,
Okay.
this is not, this is not a request for next year. This is just what we are currently giving and what was approved in the budget last year.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, I was like, oh no.
This is a map to be able to understand these transfers a little bit better when we do the budget starting July 1st. So we're not looking at numbers yet, we're just looking at and wanting to propose how to do this moving forward.
Right,
That's what I asked.
I think it was. Alicia, go back for Kitty, for Commissioner Stroke, please, to
Still-
Bluegrass Heritage Museum and work across the line,
We've got
please.
48, 36, and a 12 over here on the.
Okay, so this is just our accounting. Our software, when we budget for it, it's in the negative. And then as we give them other funding, it's in the positive, which only leaves a negative amount as the remaining amount. So we budgeted for $48,000. We've currently given them 36.
All right.
So we're 12,000 then.
$5,000, only leaves amount on $12,000.
Because we give them so much a month. I got you.
Yes, they do, there's on a monthly basis.
Right, thank you.
So if we're all kind of good at that point, I have, the city manager and I have a proposal for, those additional that are outside of the green highlights. So we are suggesting calling that program Winchester Community Investment Funds. Like not a fund, but on funds.
What's not in the green?
Yes,
Correct.
ma'am.
Okay.
I'm calling that Winchester Community Investment Funds. We suggest setting up an application period. Let them fill out, an application, I do have that as an example as well. We can, this is a digital application, they can do online. And I would bring everything to you all once
Thank you.
I submit. This is just an example, it's not set in stone, this is why we're talking about it, so everybody kind of is on the same page here.
Would that be for this year?
Yes, ma'am.
Because
We
a
are
lot of
suggesting
people are
this
already
year.
calling, asking about.
Right, that's why we wanted to talk about it right now.
I think it's
So
important to
that we-
funnel through the same, rather than, because I know we all get reached out to from people with various
Right.
emails or calls, and I think that it needs to be cohesive.
Right, so just to give an example, or to give kind of the process of right now. And again, I've only gone through one budget cycle, but last year, we took all of the programs that we gave funding to in the previous fiscal year, and I sent them a letter and I said, please, I'm sending your new, our request for budgeting. And we will, address it and, come back to you with a response. So the letter only got sent to previous, programs that we gave funding to. It was never new people, it was just the people that we gave the funding to in the past. There was not new letters being sent out. So the suggestion here is to do this application to publicize that we're doing this for a period of time. I would like 2 weeks, or whatever that you all think is a good time. I'm gonna set for that. That way that it gives more groups the opportunity to apply for the funding. And that way that it's not always the same groups that get the same amount of funding all the time.
So
This
it
is a way
spreads it
to
out more.
diversify it more, to hit more of those groups of people that maybe don't know that the funding is out there. Or that it's a possibility. This does not mean that they apply and they get it. It just means that they apply and they're considered. It is on there if you all want to require that they're a see-through. That's an option. I do have it as just a possibility to let us know if they are 501c3.
So in other words, we would have the shared services would be something.
Yes,
And over here would be the community investment funds. There'll be a pool of money
yes.
and people will submit this application for money from that pool of money.
Yes, ma'am.
If I said that correctly, I
Yes.
hope.
So the goal is that once we get to that part of the budget, that the city manager and I will recommend an amount of funding that is available. And you all have all the applications in front of you from this program. And you write down all of your proposals. Say, look, you propose $5,000 and Commissioner, I'm sure that I'm proposing, and they get, I like $10,000 for whatever program it is. Then we take all of those the proposals from the commissioners and the mayor, and we average them out, and that's what they're awarded. So if you all were the two that did the proposals of at 10,000, then that a partnership would get 750,000. That's 7,500 because it's the average of the two. So that way,
So if you went down the line, let's pick out X of X category, X person, X.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't wanna talk about this.
X organization. And Hannah and Shannon and Kitty and Joe and I all say, and we don't know what the other one's scoring.
Right.
We
yes.
all say $10,000 to organization X.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be 5 votes for that,
Yes.
and
exactly.
at that amount,
Yes, ma'am.
at that $10,000, at $50,000.
No,
No,
you would just
that's
get
why
the
this-
10. Right, I
Just
just
do the 10.
get
Okay.
average it
That's what I
out.
want to clarify.
Yes.
So the
You
average
take the
concerns
total
me,
average.
because what if I was like, well, I want 50 for this and you want 10, and then all of a sudden they get 30? When that seems like a large range to me.
Right,
Hopefully that wouldn't happen, but that could easily happen.
Yeah, one person could give all the money to one organization and that's gonna
Completely
change the
screw it.
average. So, we're looking at a consistent way to make sure that if we do averages, then everybody had a fair chance here based on what you recommended. Whereas right now, it's just kind of like, well, who do I really want to advocate more for? And then we end up, so we're trying to do this more in a fair, consistent, mathematical way. Trying to get averages.
So I'm definitely not a numbers person, but like, let's say the city's budget can work like in a +5 favor for departments or something along those lines. Could we not have a similar cap in these Winchester Community Investment Funds? If you've received X amount, you can only receive 10% more, 20% more. I don't know what that number is, but I feel like 100% increases
I kind of
aren't
see what you're
necessarily
saying,
in our
but that's,
budget either.
but that's changing the rules of the average, and that's why we wanted to talk with you all
Yeah.
about it, because if you didn't like this proposal, then we could back up and bring another proposal to you.
and that's where we set the amount. You all can, are budgeting for maybe like $250,000. That is what the city, they can afford. That's an example.
I get that, I understand.
$250,000. So you take that $250,000 out from the top of your paper, and you got 10 groups that wanted to apply for the funds. You give, or you recommend what you think that we should spend that entire $250 on.
So we will have a cap. in ours.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So there's
We'll
not
have
going
that
to
one
be one that gets a more than the entire cap. But there's somebody that could be like a new group that has, I think,
Well,
I've not applied before.
and I like the idea of them all being a 501c3.
Okay.
Yeah, so do I.
Because I know we have given money before to groups that weren't.
Right.
But,
But are they still gonna ask for an amount when we apply? They're gonna
Yeah,
ask
they
for
can
a
ask for
specific
whatever
amount.
that they want to. Yes, ma'am.
And then we
That's what they've
consider
pretty
their
much done in
request,
the
right?
past.
You all, consider, all of you, all the requests will be considered,
If you look at
as long as they're
section
in the.
three,
Page 3 there.
if you look at
Section
page 2,
section
section 3, they have an option of putting in an amount to request it.
Yeah, told them I requested, and they have to give us a budget and stuff like that.
And over the years, a lot of people, 3 of us have been here for a long time. Consistently, people have been given monies and we have no idea how they spend it. And I like that in there, how you gonna spend the money when you get it? And is it taxpayer money? Are we, I like this.
And we do have, some parts in here, that talk about, who will benefit from the project, of what, group of people are you, looking at, in the, community, because we want it to benefit the community. We have a, and then we have how will the project be sustained, after the funding, period? So how will they continue it? And then we do have a section of if they received the funding in the prior fiscal year, please provide the financial documentation for how those funds were spent. So that way that we do know if we give them to another group or a group for this year, that we know the way that they spent those funds.
If I may, to lend to what the mayor said, and these were questions that I had asked last year, and if it's appropriate to be added to this, would be up to everyone, but I would be interested maybe in section 4 to see a little more information on previous funding, maybe even just the year prior. You don't need to go back like 5 years. But if said entity received the then called transfer money, how much, how did they use it? So maybe last year's receipts.
I agree,
Okay,
Commissioner.
I've got that.
That needs to be an accountability.
Certification, but that's it, that's section. Class 7, as for the financial documentation.
Oh, I didn't hear, you're right. I saw it.
I didn't change the,
Ah,
I changed the.
Well,
sorry.
like,
no, that's good,
Now-
thank you.
I'm gonna throw in here because for my organization, I'm not asking for any money this year because I'm not having can. But last year, when I submitted my request, I submitted 2 years of the previous 2 years worth of budgets. And I think that's reasonable to ask these people.
Mhm.
Yes, it is. I agree.
You know,
We all agree with that.
And I'm not asking, this will be the second year Pioneer Festival has not asked, but I may have to next year. But I didn't ask last year or this year, not asked. But I may
And
have
I
to
mean
come
that-
back and
well,
ask.
I'll tell you for next year, when we're having camp again, I will ask for money again. But you know, you also need to include how much other money you raise,
Yes, I do.
Fundraising.
I got another
And-
form.
what you spend.
I would
Yeah.
like to know fundraising, sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you're fine.
What?
And did they get anything from Good Giving?
Mhm.
So,
all
And
of
I
them.
would- Yeah, I'd like to know
Yes.
what they're doing for themselves as well.
Most all of them are part of Good Giving now.
And there's a
If
ton.
they're a 501c3.
And
then
if the commission agrees, I don't know if it'd be necessary with such an application, but in the last section, I would like to request that a member or representative from the group requesting the money be in attendance of the request, unless we think this application suffices, that can be everyone. But I think you should be here to ask for your money, and if you can't attend, then
So, I see you'd like that prior to you all making the decision.
well, kind of similar to what we've done where they've come, maybe we can have the information before and we don't even
Okay.
give them an answer then, but I would like them to come and request the money in person as well.
Oh, yeah.
And no information more than what they've already done on the application, but just, you know, skin in the game.
Yeah.
I
Agree. Good idea.
And so that could be part, my goal was to, we kind of do like, last year and do like a transfer a day.
Yeah.
That would, I would bring them all in, 2-minute increments or 15, and we'd bring them all in and they, I mean, if we got a lot, then we have to figure
Right.
that out, but
This
Um,
really
I
opens
think
the
if we-
process. It's
Yes.
fair, it's equitable.
I think it
and,
gives
you know,
more
across
of the
the board.
community, more of programs, opportunity, that way that we're not seeking them out, but they're us seeking us out.
Well, and I mean, if an organization were to, and I mean, there's liable to be somebody in here, so, not in here, but here, that's gonna say, oh, I didn't know about that, but I'm gonna start an organization and ask them for 50 grand.
Well, the application doesn't mean you can get any money at all, right? I mean, it's
Right.
not guaranteed.
But I mean, I think if they have to submit 2 years worth of financials, we can say, hey, this organization, it started in April of this year, and they're asking for 50 grand, but they haven't raised any other money.
You can-
No, I mean,
I get what you're saying. Sorry.
I don't think that group needs to be considered. You know, operate a year or two, then ask us for money.
Well, if there's a copy of your 501c3, would it have a, I can't think of the word, but like a formation date on it?
Mhm.
So we can see that, because anyone has to include that.
Like the date they were organized.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't think of what that, thank you. Thank you.
And I think it's real important, like Commissioner Toole's saying, we need, I mean, we have to hold people accountable too. Not just the city accountable, we need to hold people accountable as to what skin in the game do you have?
And now that
You know,
Good Giving
and
is so popular, most of them are raising their money through Good Giving. That's how they're getting it.
Mhm.
I'd say 3/4 of them get it that way.
So what do you want from the commission tonight? We like this, that we.
Kind of the go ahead to go, because we want to get this application out, do you think that a 2-week time opening is good? If we put it out for 2 weeks, then.
I say give an absolute date.
Yeah.
You
Right,
pick a
but
date.
when do we wanna start?
When did,
I think that's up to you, Brooke.
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
sure.
And say all applications must be received
Bye.
digitally by 11:59 PM on this day.
And maybe capitalize the word digitally.
Yes. Yeah,
And
we're gonna, gear everybody towards the, the website, and this is gonna be a digital form, and then they can attach all of their documents.
because every year that I've been involved here, somebody comes in here the middle of May and says, well, now I got money last year and the year before and the 5 years before that, but I didn't know I had to submit. Well, you know what? We had an absolute day. Sorry, we cannot consider you this year, but
We have to stick to what we say we're gonna do.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
So anybody,
And
that-
there'll be wailing and gnashing of teeth, but we have to, you know,
We have to
anybody, that-
streamline the process at some point. We've gotta move forward rather than.
anybody
stand
that
still.
fills this out and mails this in,
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
have to-
have
Did-
an, it's gonna have an opportunity to come before us and sit and ask. You know, that's gonna increase our time with,
That's okay.
Can we
increase
say
our
that?
time with
Well,
budget.
It'll be worthwhile.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, we give them a time frame. They can, during this.
Just like we've done
Just
Like
before.
we've done in the past, that's what we've done, and there'll just
Yeah,
be
but,
more of
but
it.
we are required, well, for 2 weeks, I don't think we'll have a overwhelming amount. But we are gonna put it out on Facebook. I'm gonna, I know that Diana's, I'm gonna share it on the, Elon, and we're putting it on the website. If it is a lot, then it's just a lot for y'all to look at. A lot for y'all to consider.
if it's a lot, we do them, we have a half a day because I think I counted 12 here or 13.
But that's only the ones that we've only done in the past.
Right.
Right.
And one of those work camps, we know we're not gonna do it this year. But I mean, if you do 15 minutes apiece, and also, you know, we don't know what all these are going to have to do it. And, you know, and we also know, that's right.
So if I can, my 3 things, and this is a new one. Incomplete application will be
Cost.
lost.
Yeah, I'm gonna make, we have smart forms that, does all of our, digital,
Asterisks,
forms,
make sure.
so they can, make it, where it's required on to be submitted.
Okay,
Of
and
the thing, I have to do it in order for the application to be submitted.
excellent. And then the
And-
fundraising mentioned, sorry, and then a person in attendance.
Yes.
Yes.
Fundraising.
Other fundraising,
That's right.
and,
That's the thing
and
that
also a
we know.
disclaimer at the end of this in capital letters, maybe printed in red. Just because you submit an application does not mean that you will be funded.
Correct. This is a consideration of it.
I think this is good.
I think it opens the process even more.
Yes, which is something that
It's
we,
good.
that we don't get stuck in the transfers. And I would advise moving forward that even though these are green on this one, that we still scrutinize them, that we are looking at them very closely. Do they need that much funding? Do they, are they getting any funding from Africa, other sources that could help them out? So that's always something that I'll need to, look at on moving.
I still
forward.
think they need to
Oh,
come
yeah,
in too.
they will absolutely, come into, but I just don't want them to be on the same day as
No,
I'm trying to separate them out because they're not the same,
Well,
they're not the same groups.
maybe do one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Yeah.
I just wanted to keep them separate because there are things that I would need to fund and things that I can fund if the funding's available.
And you're basing most of this off of our auditor's recommendation, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have good, clean audits.
Yes. And just for fun, I created a mission statement about the community or the community investment funds. How it ties back to, as the strategic. Plans for quality of life.
Yes.
Thought it'd be good to put at the beginning of our, application. So that we know like why we're doing this and what we want from them.
And you're right, Alicia, this does back up our strategic plan. Exactly. Well written.
ChatGPT.
We use other resources available.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I think it's great.
Okay, honey, good job.
Free,
Yeah.
super well.
While we're here.
So I think at this point that we're giving her permission to keep going.
To move forward. Yes, thank you very
Everybody
much.
okay with that?
Yes.
Do you
All
wanna
right.
do you wanna do a vote?
Do you want us to go ahead and put it in the record? Do we need to do
That needs a vote.
By our consensus,
I would just say that this is all preliminary. If you vote on this, you know, I don't wanna be
It's done.
tied to
Yeah, we
this.
might wanna
It's
change
still,
May not work
you know,
out.
this
Let's
was
just
just the
note it.
idea, the
Just note it
concept.
in the
We wanted-
minutes.
We wanted to know if we were moving in the right direction.
And after all, it is a work session.
Yeah.
So, okay, now what else do you want?
No.
Sorry, Alicia, I had to say that.
So the second part is I would like to go ahead and start thinking of days that you all are available in the month of May.
In May,
Yes, ma'am, in May. I know they will, because I've got the department heads are working on their budgets and they are supposed to be done by the end of this month. Next month, the city manager and I will put together those budgets. And then in May, I'd be ready for the commission to start analyzing those budgets as well.
so starting the week of May 5th. Hannah, you still tied up Mondays, Tuesdays?
Still got those jobs. I will take vacation days this year I'll take vacation days to do it.
That's why I just wanted to kind of talk about it early, that we got time, I can make plans and for y'all to tell me if you're not in town or on
Well,
town.
we all know we're going to be here May the 6th because that's our
That's
first
correct. Exactly what I'm
meeting in May.
Okay.
Let's plan to go and I'll take vacation day that day
Of
too.
course, he's got that work schedule too, big time.
Right.
Yeah. You work on,
What
Oh.
days do you work?
I work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Monday, Tuesday.
Like
Okay.
week.
Mhm.
Better on Wednesday through Fridays.
I cannot do
Most of the time.
May 9th, 16th, or 23rd.
okay, let's do,
I'm
Let's-
just listening.
let's look at May the 8th.
What day is that?
That's a
Thursday.
Thursday.
That's the
I
chamber
will be-
banquet, just so you know.
Chamber
I'm
banquet's
supposed to be
that
at a
night.
KLC, strategic meeting, all that.
May the 7th, Joe, that's a
Good.
Wednesday.
What about May 9th? Are you 7th and 9th?
She can't do the 9th, 16th, or the 23rd.
Some things are out in May. This is.
Sorry,
I
it's
wanted
like,
to have
it's
this
like the
discussion
fun
early.
part of my job. I don't want to miss those things. Okay, no, I could do the 9th. It's the 16th and the 23rd.
I can do the 9th.
That's
Joe,
right.
that's a Friday.
That's a Friday.
8th and 9th,
Thursday, and Friday, I'm good.
May
Monday,
8th. and-
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Oh, you can't do the 8th.
I can't do the 8th because I've got
Oh,
KLC.
no. Okay,
Okay, so 9.
so the 9th, at least.
The 9th, yeah.
We got.
Wait just a minute,
What's the 12th look like? The next Monday,
hold on.
Friday, Monday?
Joe can't do.
Oh, Joe can't do Monday,
I can't
Tuesday.
do Mondays and Tuesdays.
We put people in jail. on that.
9th, 14th.
I can do the 9th.
You can do the 9th?
What day is the
Monday.
night on?
I need to,
Friday.
I'd like at least.
Oh, wait a
3.
minute, I can't do the 9th.
You're gonna be.
Mine's an
you're gonna
overnight
be-
thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
it is.
I won't even be here.
I've seen that.
I'm sorry.
To the chamber.
What about at least the 14th and the 15th?
Unless I can get out of something. I'm good both of those days.
Joe will be-
So Wednesday, Thursday.
Week, that's Wednesday.
Wednesday,
So Joe,
Thursday.
it depends on the way that your weeks fall.
Right, it might be
If
my
you got
Monday,
that
Tuesday,
Wednesday or not.
Wednesday week.
Well, let's start with the 15th now.
Okay.
And then by our first meeting in April, let's have a couple
May
other days.
15th Thursday.
that we know.
What day is the
Is,
15th?
is this week your
Pardon?
3-day week or your 2-day week right
Two-day
now?
week.
All right, let's figure it out.
And as I said, you can't do the 16th,
can't
right?
do those
Fridays are-
I cannot do the 16th or the 23rd.
I would really.
You said it's 2-day?
It's a 2-day
Back to
week.
back
This is your 2-day.
On back-to-back days, it's just,
It's exhausting.
yeah.
Agreed.
I think the week of May 12th is your 2-day week. Just to put that out there.
Who can't do Wednesdays?
Some days I
Every-
can, some days
every
I
other-
can't.
Well, I hate to
Every
tell
other-
if it's a, if
every
it's a
other
work day
week.
for Joe.
So it look, to me, it looks like if it's every other, that is a 2-day work week for you on the week of May 12th.
So could we do the 14th and well, you don't want to
There's
do
a
back to back?
days.
Not, it's just too taxing on everybody.
We just gotta get it done, though.
But we've got the,
How about the 14th and the 22nd?
I do not want to go
Pushing it,
past
getting
Memorial
kinda
Day.
late in
yeah,
there.
that's, because then we still gotta bring all the
Need to
departments.
know that there's 3 days. I don't need them all 3
Oh, way to
together,
go, Alicia.
but don't give me the last a week of May.
14th, 15th, and 22nd is my suggestion.
14, 15, 22.
It's a Wednesday,
I'll
Thursday.
block them if everybody else can block. 14, 15,
It's
Is Wednesday,
Thursday, and then I'm
and 22, Hannah?
And
That's
Thursday, the
Thursday.
22nd.
Shannon?
Well,
22nd is the
Joe?
Friday. 22nd.
15th to
It's a
Thursday.
22nd, so
Fifteenth
Thursday.
Thursday, 16th Friday. No, that wasn't it.
No.
14th,
Wednesday, the
15th.
14th, Thursday, the
I got other
15th,
stuff.
and then the next week,
Thursday.
Thursday.
I can do it.
What's the 22nd?
I know now.
The Friday.
Thursday.
And that's just a suggestion, just a.
Some options.
Yeah.
Is
Okay. One more time, commissioners, we'll go through it.
It's just a suggestion.
No, go, give us what you said.
Wednesday, May 14th,
Correct.
Thursday, May 15th. Thursday, May 22nd.
Those look okay, Joe?
Yeah.
As long as
Long
If
as
my
it's-
math was right.
Wednesday's good, then
long as it's on a Thursday, I'm
And
good.
Hannah's checked you out.
And
and
every other-
said you're off work on the 14th.
I've got
I'll
it,
go with you to your boss if you need.
we'll go
Go to bed.
got it down for the 14th, 15th, and 22nd.
That's correct. Is everybody good?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have
And
to-
let's all just, yeah,
you don't have to
check with
check
our
on the quarters,
employers.
so
We'll put
I'll
my
make sure all that is done.
dates in.
And I'll try to make the 14th and the 15th and not like super heavy, so they're not like so taxing. So where those are.
Can you make
back-to-back
one
days.
like the community investment day kind of, because that's,
Well,
people gonna come talk to us, we're not gonna be talking to departments, so.
we do departments the morning, the 14th and 15th, and then we do some of those community investment things
In the
the afternoon of
afternoons.
those days.
So departments
Split it up a bit.
in the morning.
So that, you know,
and
and tell these people, they're only gonna like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's what we did on last
in there.
year.
Yeah.
We did on like 10-minute.
Yeah, we did
increments.
10 minute last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I brought the paper thing.
I don't know, you could do the application deadline for, how long do you want to review it before we review it?
Well, I don't, I mean, I'm just gonna make, I've shown that all the documents are there and, prepare a binder for all of you all to be able to review.
You need last year's book, so you can use the same book over
No.
again.
Well, that's my only third question. So that's where I'm at on the budget. So set some budget days, if those don't work, then we need to figure out some more days. But I'll try to fit everything into 3.
Did you meet all your goals?
I got one more.
Oh, no.
Mike, I'm told me to keep going, so.
Might as
Mike's
well.
got to speak here in a minute. So the last one is, we kind of changed our budget process this year, and we're utilizing a system that we were paying for already. And it allows us to digital budget. So the department heads, like, they're putting in their budgeting in this system, and we get to see it real time. Instead of me putting it into an Excel sheet, and they put it into an Excel sheet, and then I put it in another Excel sheet, and then I print it out 500 times. So we're doing that on the department side. My
So it'll be
question
like on our
is,
screens?
well, that's my question.
Oh.
Would you all be okay if it was on the screen instead of a book in front of you?
Mr. Douglas,
For,
we okay?
for the
do that?
departments.
Yeah, I think if the, yeah. I think that would-
Especially just work sessions.
Yeah.
I mean, I can provide a digital documents to you all like prior to, if you wanna look at them like that way, like prior to the meetings. And, but I just,
Sorry, I just realized my date. I got a bad date, but I'll work through it.
You gave
but
the
I'm
date.
trying.
I know.
I'm trying to save printing out the documents and then I'm shredding them, printing them again, and then shredding them. If I just print you out a book at the end, when it is all prepared.
So like I bring my laptop in and I could access it sitting down here.
I would have to get you access, but sure.
'Cause
Well, I've got iPads.
I'm a visual learner.
Oh,
And, you know.
we would, make sure it is all available, to see. I mean, I can print out things if you want, I'm gonna need it printed out, and I'd be glad to do that. But we're just trying to find a better way than printing it multiple times. So just an idea, throwing it out there. I'll let Mike go.
Anybody comments like that idea? Don't
Thank
like
you
that
for-
idea, want a hard copy, what?
And then we would get a hard
At the end.
copy, which I think we're supposed to, aren't we, Bill?
You'll have
Yeah,
to.
yeah, I have to distribute these
Yeah.
in books, yes.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Everybody good
It'll
with that?
be on the screen, I'll
I'm
provide
so
it
kicking
digitally.
myself right now.
Which date you need to check?
It's not a big deal. It's a Maker's Mark dinner. If I can get to
Oh.
Claremont, Kentucky by 6 p.m. on the Saturday. It's about 2 hours.
Well, probably,
It's all good. It's all good.
most likely on the 22nd, we'll spend the afternoon. Finalizing everything. So after lunch, we might be done by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock.
And if not, it's fine. It's been a priority. Thank you.
I'm done.
Okay, anything else? Now did you reach your goals?
That was my goal. So if you read it.
All right, we've got 12 minutes to our next session starts, and when Mr. Flynn is with us this evening, he wants to talk to us
He
a
wants to
moment
take
about
7
the
minutes
Martin
of that,
Luther
right?
King Jr. Bridge Replacement Study.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Flynn?
Mayor and Commissioners, as we look at this. There we go. All right, I want to give you a little background before we started. In December of this past year, we engaged Palmer to look at the Martin Luther King Bridge and provide a preliminary concept of replacing that bridge. We had looked in years past, even probably 3 to 4 budget cycles ago, we looked at painting the bridge. First round, we didn't get any bids for painting the bridge. We went back and rebid it again. Still didn't have any interest in that. Then we went and got some quotes about 18 months ago, and those quotes were way out of line for painting of a bridge and what needed to be done there. They were in the $175,000 to $225,000 realm, and we just thought that was way too much for what we were asking to be done there. So we asked Palmer to provide some alternates and evaluate, look at permit considerations. We're in a waterway there that is a protected waterway. FEMA flood maps and everything go through that area. That's part of the Strokes Creek Basin in that area. Provide some preliminary cost estimates, recommendations, and review what we put before them, and then what you have before you and what was in your packet. I looked in your packet to make sure you had it. You've got the report that Palmer provided as part of this. 2 of the things that we were looking at doing was operational improvement in that area. As you all know, that's a very busy intersection there at Martin Luther King and the bypass. And then long-term maintenance cost savings, because we didn't want to be back working on this bridge again and doing things, because it's probably, I won't say it's at the end of its useful life, but it's definitely at a point in its life that some extensive repairs will be needed in the future. So I mentioned, am I going the wrong way? Oh, no, I'm going the right way. The scope that was completed, I mentioned it already, existing conditions analysis, a proposed alternate analysis, and two of the things that we looked at there, and two of the alternatives that they provided was a reinforced concrete box culvert and an arch span bridge, and they looked at all those things and provided information as part of that. When we look at that, there's a lot of things that are there in that area. You all know that Central Bank, Dairy Queen, Rural King, and probably most importantly, the three schools that are in that area that provide a lot of traffic issues at different points of time during the day. So we wanted to be able to provide something there that would deal with some of the issues that we've got and solve some of the issues that we have. I'd mentioned, you can see the hydraulic area that's there, that's in blue. Is classified by FEMA and flood insurance rate map information and some of the other things that are there. Palmer, in doing this work, had to provide some information and actually review information of the impacts of what we would do with whatever alternative that we chose or that we end up choosing to do there. And you'll see at the end of that report what we've chosen as our desired option to fix the issues that we've got. We took some pictures. You can see that's looking north toward the bridge, the creek area that's there, and the things that are going on. Different design conditions that had to be considered as we went through the work and made a decision on what we were going to do. There are a lot of existing utilities. Many folks, they just see what's on top of the ground. They don't see what's underneath the ground. You've got large water lines that are in the area. You've got fiber optics that are there, sanitary sewer, a lot of storm, other things that are draining into that area that had to be considered as we looked at this. And we went through that. We did locates. My own existing experience, I can tell you, we worked in that area, and it's not a fun area to work in as far as being in the water or the sewer department. So those are things that we had to consider. Columbia Gas, and then I mentioned the concrete flume, the fiber optic. Another consideration that's there is pedestrian traffic as well. We've got a lot of kids that come from school that go to those areas that are across the road as well, and the traffic being able to handle that pedestrian traffic is not the best. They even have to step out in the street at this point in time to be able to operate the crosswalk things that are there for them to utilize. So it's something that we definitely took a look at. Other things that are there, you can see they're contained in your report, things that would have to be considered as we do this. So I'd mentioned that we've looked at two different alternatives, one being the reinforced concrete box culvert, the arch span, precast modular bridge, and looking at that, the RCBC for an acronym there. The way it has to be constructed, you can see there in the top portion of that slide. That's what would be placed in there to be able to do that, to give you 40 foot going across that. Now, with the consideration of this, very important to note the permits that will be required as part of this. And these permits are very important. You have to have them in order to do these type of construction projects, especially with this alternative. And one is that U.S. Army Corps of Engineer permit. They're very hard to get. They're very picky about what you do in the waterways there, and you disturb those and making sure that you're doing the right thing. You can see the other Kentucky Division of Water permits that will be required, and the other things that would be needed as part of this.
It's like 5 permits.
5 permits on that one. The preliminary cost estimate for the reinforced concrete was $1.345 million. So it's a pretty significant cost, and put it in there and do it this way. But we had discussed this many months ago. We felt this was a better use of monies rather than spending $200,000 or $300,000 get something painted, not doing anything to improve what we have there. if you've been through there at any point in time, you know that the guardrail is laying over on its side more than it's up. And, we wanna fix that with this project that, we're proposing. That was the, first alternative. This is what it would look like. They did a map, laid it out in the exhibit for alternate one, what would be there. The next alternative is the arch span bridge, and this is a bridge that's made by, it's a con-span precast, it's made by Contact, a division of Contact that we have here, in the industrial park. And, the nice thing about this, the existing stream channel material will be maintained, which, what does that mean? Well, that means that we've got less permits that we have to get. We don't have to deal with some of that, federal level permitting that we would with, the other alternatives. And you can see there, besides 5 permits, we gotta get 3, related to this, type of, work. So you can see a picture there of what a con-span bridge is. Of course, it just spans out, and one of the things you can do with this bridge is they'll bring this bridge in and they'll set it down in place, and, which is a nice, mode of construction. They'll have to do some earthwork and some other things in there, but we can't change, one of the things that we can't do, we can't change the flood levels that are in there, we can't change some of the other things, and this alternative and this mode of construction will allow us not to do that. Cost estimate is a little bit higher, but I say that getting those permits will outweigh the cost of, the construction that would be involved. And these are preliminary cost estimates. Conspan give us their, estimate for that. You'll be considering a bid, tonight at the 5:30 meeting that I would have said would have been a little bit higher, but it seems that the contractors are getting a little bit hungrier. They're wanting this work, and, these are the type of things I think we're gonna get some good bids on moving forward. And, you've got a lot more contractors out there, that are looking to do it. We add a turn lane, which is a great thing right now. When you come down to the head of the bypass on Martin Luther King Drive, you have a straight through and a right turn, same lane. With this, we propose to put in a right turn lane and a straight through lane and a left turn lane. So that will alleviate the traffic concerns there, allow the buses, school traffic and those to turn. It widens the radiuses out, so we don't have the trucks that are going to Rural King, tearing out the guardrails and all the other places. And I'm not just saying, they're not the only ones. I shouldn't have said that. That was inappropriate for me to say that. But all those that utilize, that through there, large truck traffic, hopefully, will eliminate a lot of those problems. So Palmer has recommended, and I think I agree, I think the city manager agrees, with going with the Conspan Bridge. And in doing that, what we've done to this date is we submitted for a grant funds. You all are aware that we got awarded for Jackson Street. We started construction this week. Jesse's been up there today. They're putting the inserted valves and all the other stuff in to move those valves. We submitted through the same grant program in order to get these funds. We submitted for $750,000. Well, your first question is going to be, well, why didn't you submit for $1.4 million? We submit for $1.4 million, they're going to throw it out. We're not going to get any money. I've already been told that. Do not submit for these total amounts. Submit for anything below $1 million. They said that 750 and lower mark is a good number to submit for. So what did I submit for? $750,000. So we'll see what'll happen with that grant. It's already been submitted. It's in their hands. Hopefully by the fall of the year, we'll know if we get any funds from that. I hope that we do. Pray that we do get those monies. That'll help us a long way to move forward with this. What I'll say with that is at the 5:30 meeting, you will have a item on your agenda that's additional monies to for this specific project. The work that we've done today, approximately $5,000 has been placed in this project. We're asking for an additional $7,500 to fully develop the plans for this. So if we get the grant money, this is a project that needs to be done. We're going to have to do something regardless. We're going to be spending money. You're gonna be doing it one way or another, but at the end of the day, we need a set of fully developed plans in order that if we get the grant monies, we can bid the project and we can, go out and see what the final project costs are gonna be, because that's when you know when the final preliminary is preliminary. And when you get the bid numbers, then you know what it's cost, and then Alicia and the city manager can budget to do the work that needs to be done there. So, with that, I'll take any questions you got. I think it's a very important project. It's going to tie in, hopefully. You got this, we've got another one that's on the, agenda too, that's just up the hill from it. It's, the roundabout, and, we're working on that too with the survey work. So all this should tie in together and hopefully, mitigate and eliminate some of the traffic issues that are there. And two very good projects that I think are very community-oriented type projects, and they impact 3 of your schools that are there in the area, and a large portion of residential folks that live in and around that area as well. Anybody have any questions? I try to be brief and I'm on
Questions?
point.
Only question I've got is I've out there, work out there now. I've seen in heavy rain, a lot of trash comes into there and gets stuck on that bridge.
Yes, sir.
Is this arch thing, is that gonna help that get through?
It's wide
Through
open.
there
It's
easier?
wide open.
Okay, because I know that there've been times water has been backed up half a mile away.
Right, it's structurally designed as an open flow channel, is what it is. So, you know, and, that would be anything that did get hung up in there. If it did get hung up in there, it's a bad day.
What's the big tree?
Yeah,
Any more questions for Mr.
Sorry.
Flynn?
Good.
I tried.
Well, you're
You
fine.
did great.
Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn the 4:30
So
session?
moved.
Motion by Commissioner Cox, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Strode, any discussion? We are dismissed, be back in, 30 minutes, 30 seconds ago. So that meeting is adjourned, and we'll take a 5-minute recess, we'll be right back. Let's see, I didn't rewrite all that. All right. And then we had that late, everybody get something laid on the table from. Yes. Sorry, you all, we'll start here in just a second. Mike Flynn helped us, I'm just kidding. Couldn't find my little banger and I had my arms not in the water.
Yes, it's reading.
Okay, everybody back?
That's, I see it, yeah.
We ready? Ready?
Aye. Good.
Everybody ready down here? Okay. Ask if everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led this evening by Diana Lane, our Deputy City Manager. You'll come forward and.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. I'll ask our city manager, Dr. Bruce Manley, to lead us in our invocation.
Let's pray. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to serve here tonight, to serve our city, to serve our community, to serve our citizens. We just uplift all the first responders that are in the room tonight. We just pray for those that were in the Kerr building earlier. We just pray for healing and protection and peace in that situation. We just ask for guidance and direction in our meeting tonight. And in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Okay.
Please be seated. And, what our city manager was referencing, we had a fire in the Kerr building today in an apartment. And our guys, as always, were spot on, and gals, were spot on. And so we thank you all for your, quick response and what you did this afternoon, especially for those families. Okay, let me officially call the meeting to order. And it looks like the second thing on is a presentation. I think Chief Whiteley is going to make that presentation, and he has provided each of us with a red folder. Do we follow along, Chief? Okay, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, Chief, can you hand me that paper, please? Thank you.
On Tuesday, March 4th, 2025, during the City of Winchester City Commission meeting, a discussion on the validity of employing a family member of the fire chief into the Winchester Fire Department and becoming an employee of the City of Winchester occurred. While the hiring was ultimately approved with one vote of no, it was not without comments that were directed at me, my family, and the department I represent. The insinuations mustn't go unchecked, and the integrity of the process must be verified. While I could give you numerous examples of nepotism currently in city government that were mentioned and seconded with unanimous support, I choose not to. This would only cause unnecessary attention to those employees, their families, and their departments. I am here to confront directly and solely all that pertains to me, my family, and the Winchester Fire Department. Statement number one, as stated by Commissioner Cox from the chamber bench. He had several messages from the Winchester Fire Department personnel regarding this matter. They were concerned that my son would be employed. If true, these numbers or names should have been submitted to the city manager or at the very least a human resource director for appropriate follow-up. Statement number two, as stated by Commissioner Cox from the chamber bench. The ethics code was not being adhered to by employing a family member to the fire department. He stated the ethics ordinance needed to be amended to state no officer or employee of the city shall directly supervise or manage the work of a family member. A probationary firefighter's chain of command is as follows: firefighter 2, firefighter 3, lieutenant, major, battalion chief, assistant chief of fire, and fire chief. If related to the fire chief, it would be the city manager. That is 6 forms of formal leadership, supervision between the recruit and the department head. Statement number 3, as stated by Commissioner Cox post-meeting, he has a recording of me making derogatory comments towards my staff. If true, this should be submitted to the city manager and the HR director for investigation. Without having heard said reporting and without context, I cannot say whether it is true or not. However, I can say that I am passionate and driven and also human. I cannot ever recall a time as the executive administrator of the fire department that I have ever demoralized my staff. It is impossible for me not to feel that this was a personal attack on me, the department, or both. The statements made caused a new employee to second guess his acceptance into the brotherhood of the Winchester Fire Department. They undermine the transparency of the hiring process, the integrity of the department, and my patience as a father and fire chief. Submitted for your review and the public's knowledge are the following items. Dated January 1st, 2022. An ordinance amending sections of ordinance numbers 15-96 to amend section 6.5-51, nepotism. On motion by Commissioner Cox, seconded by Commissioner Reed. And with a unanimous vote, this ordinance passed second reading and was adopted. Ordinance number 2-2022. Dated November 20th, 2024. The City of Winchester online advertisement for the Fire Academy. Dated November 22nd, 2024. The Winchester Fire Department advertises the upcoming Fire Academy with an application submission deadline of February 4th and an academy start date of March 17th, 2025. Dated January 13th, 2025. Email correspondence from the HR director to myself and the city manager stating that Mr. Dykeman, the city attorney, had approved my family member to apply for the Fire Academy. Dated February 6, 2025. Email correspondence from the Assistant Chief of Fire to the HR Director regarding proposed interview questions for the upcoming Fire Academy interview process. Also, it is an attachment of interview dates, times, and applicant scheduling. The Fire Chief is not included in this correspondence. Dated February 7, 2025. Email correspondence from the Assistant Chief of Fire to the interview panel members regarding the HR approved questions and interview schedule. The Fire Chief is not included in this correspondence. Dated February 10th, 2025 through February 18th, 2025. Email correspondence thread between the HR Director, the Winchester Fire Department Administrative Assistant, and the Assistant Chief of Fire regarding the interview process. The Fire Chief is not included in this correspondence. Dated January 7th, 2025 through January 8th, 2025. Email correspondence thread between the city manager, the fire chief, the HR director, and the city clerk regarding the fire chief's attendance at the Congressional Fire and Emergency Service Symposium scheduled for February 11th through February 14th. The fire chief was out of state from February 10th through February 14th, 2025. The fire chief's family member was interviewed for the Fire Academy on February 11th. Dated February 20th, 2025 through February 21st, 2025. Email from the Assistant Chief of Fire to the HR Director and City Manager. The Fire Chief and Benefits Coordinator were CC'd. This email regarded the completion of the interview process and recommended candidates, who were ranked from top to bottom, compiling a total of 7 potential new employees. It was requested that the Benefits Coordinator reach out to each new employee to schedule the required medical physical. Job offers had been extended and accepted by all the top 7. Dated February 27th, 2025. Email from the city clerk outlining the agenda for the city commission meeting to take place on Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. This information is provided to prove the absolute transparency in the conducted hiring process, verification of its integrity, and dispute any insinuation to the contrary. On March 4th, 2025, during the city commission meeting, 6 of the 7 new probationary firefighters were in attendance. At this point, they had interviewed, accepted a job offer, successfully passed the required medical physical for the fire service, and submitted 2-week notices to their previous employer. This occasion should have been one of joy and welcoming to them as they began their journey as a Winchester firefighter. Instead, my son Micah was called out by name and asked if he could wait a month. This action is in contradiction to past precedent and was only intended to hurt me. Nowhere within the recommended employment offer submitted by the city manager can I find a single vote of no in the city of Winchester's history. In conclusion, I offer the following. This type of conduct further exemplifies the lack of trust, the disconnect by some elected officials, and the lack of respect for the employees of this city. They do not represent the core values of the Winchester Fire Department, its members, or the community we serve. My humble prayer is that this be the last time that an employee of this city, who only strives to better the community, to serve, is publicly shamed unnecessarily. C.S. Lewis once said that what you see Depends on what you're looking for. Let us look for the good in each other, support one another, and be who this community deserves. Thank you.
Does that conclude your presentation or is? Okay.
Good evening.
Hey there.
My name is Tyler Scott Taves. I serve as a firefighter with the city of Winchester. It's a community that I've grown up in and still serve today. But today I come to the commission not as an employee, but as the vice president of the Winchester Firefighters Union, Local 1807. As vice president, I represent the majority of our firefighters and EMS personnel through our union. On the night of March 4th, 2025, I was taken back on the comments made by Commissioner Cox regarding the hiring of a firefighter recruit, whose father happens to be the chief of this department. Learning that many members have reached out to him with complaints and grave concern about this new hire. So what we did as a union is we investigated this. We talked to every single member of our department, which is 100% union members. And that was not our consensus. Matter of fact, not one person said that they reached out to you. Mr. Cox, although you are entitled on your opinion on how this can affect the city of Winchester and our department, you have no right to speak on the behalf of the men and women of the Winchester Fire Department who serve this community when in fact nobody reached out to you about Michael Whiteley. I find this so troublesome that you would try to divide our department. Is this for political gain? I'm asking a question, please.
I'm not going to dignify this with a response. I don't dignify a personal response. I don't respond to personal attacks.
This is not a personal attack. What happened on March 4th, 2025 was a personal attack. Today, we stand united, stronger, and together. Today, we stand and we say we do not support your comments made on March 4th, 2025. I truly hope you understand the weight of this. Although this has made many firemen and EMS personnel throughout our department upset, I can only imagine what Michael Whiteley was going through that night when he was here. A young man that's supposed to start his career. So probably would have been one of the best nights of his young life at the time. I'm now curious, as he started recruit class yesterday, is he wondering, do I belong here? Do the other men and women of this department that he will be out with when he's released from recruit class, if he graduates, do they want me here? I applaud him for continuing on. I don't know if I would have the strength, to be honest. Make it known that this union and the members who make up our numbers, which is the entire department, fully support the hiring of Michael Whiteley and welcome him into our family. Now I'll ask again, please, how many people reached out to you regarding the hiring of Michael Whiteley that's employed by the Winchester Fire Department?
Well, there's 4 in this room right now.
Please.
No.
Because then they would have lied to me.
No,
they would have lied to me when they signed this.
Unlike
every single person in our department was interviewed, talked to. So their integrity, they're lying to my face. Or you're lying to my face right now. Which is it?
Unlike you and the chief, I would not call anybody out by name and embarrass them and attempt to embarrass them in a situation.
Like you embarrassed Michael Whiteley on March 4th?
And I will say this. I will never sit here or out in the community or anywhere else and go against what is written in the law or an ordinance.
Look at your red book where you voted yes and you made motions for the exact same thing. Check your book out right there.
Made a motion for it, Commissioner.
What, I made the motion to adopt the nepotism ordinance that was in question the last time. I'm not supposed to question what I made the motion
You made a
that
motion for
passed.
the hire. You didn't make, that's what you made a motion for to hire another nepotism case. You was the first vote. You made the first motion. It's in there. It's proved. Don't get behind it.
But
This is what I think. I think it's easy to sit up there and say that many people from our department came to you and said that they have a problem with the hiring. I feel like that is easy for you to sit up there to say, what I didn't think that you expected was me to come here and rake you through the coals and find this out, because I found it out. Me and other members of this union found it out. I've invited you to our firehouse dinner.
if
For dinner, breakfast, for all who doesn't know, being invited to a firehouse dinner it's a great treat. It's where world problems are really solved. And if you're invited one day in a civilian aspect, you should feel honored. I feel utterly disrespected because I know for a fact that these men and women behind me and the ones that are home today did not lie to me when they put their name on this paper and say that they didn't reach out to you. I know for a fact.
I know for a fact they did.
Was it me, sir?
Please.
Did I reach out to you?
I don't even know who said that.
It's me right here. Did I reach out to you, sir?
I'm not.
You
going-
said 4 people in this room.
Did I?
I'm not going to put any of you guys on the spot like they have me tonight.
You have my
okay?
permission right now.
No, I still won't. I've got that much integrity.
I give you my full permission.
Can I speak?
I think, can you stay a second? I think Commissioner Chenault asked me if he could speak. Commissioner?
We respect what you say, but on the positive side, it passed. On the positive side.
It
passed.
did pass,
It,
but we still had a young man thinking about quitting this department.
well, I think since it passed on the positive side, the positive should override the negative. So he shouldn't quit.
Going forward, I believe that truthfully, nobody should speak for the men and women of this department unless they were 100%.
Well, I did not speak for the minute when.
Clearly you did.
Excuse me, I was in the middle of a sentence. I won't complete. What I.
Here's a form of everybody in this department,
Going to say.
every staff member that signed that. So they either lied to me or you're lying to my face right now.
We can be back and forth with this.
Thank you all.
Mr. Dykeman, I need to. I haven't had this situation before as mayor, but I did receive this morning at 9:05, I think I wasn't here. An email, no, not an email, a letter apparently in my box. From the IAFF 1807. Should I read this in the record or what do I do?
A letter, what's that,
From the firefighters.
firefighter union? Well, I think you need to.
What'd you say?
You need
You want
to
It
me
needs to be,
You
it
need
needs
to
to be
read it.
submitted to the record, but
Submit it.
it should be,
consent.
it should be read as well because of the people
right.
watching online.
Okay, this is addressed to Mayor Joellen Reed, 32 Wall Street, Winchester, Kentucky, 40391, and then a phone number. I received this at 9:05 a.m. today. On March the 4th, 2025, Commissioner Shannon Cox attempted to speak for members of the Winchester Fire Department by saying that numerous members of the department had reached out to him regarding a conflict of interest, parentheses, nepotism, in the hiring of a recruit. Commissioner Cox was not and is not authorized to speak on our behalf. We prefer to speak for ourselves. We wholeheartedly support the hiring of recruit Micah Whiteley. Below are the signatures of members of the WFD that absolutely did not reach out to Commissioner Cox on this matter. These signatures should also show our complete and utmost confidence in and approval of Winchester Fire Chief Christopher Whiteley's vision and accomplishments in the betterment of the WFD and our community alike. Winchester Firefighter Professional Firefighters IAFF Local 1807, signed by John Hunt, IAFF 1807 President, and signed by Tyler Tays, IAFF 1807 Vice President. And then at the bottom is a note: the completion of this letter accounts for 100% approval of the hiring of Michael Whiteley, opposition in regards to contact with Commissioner Cox over this matter, and the full support of Fire Chief Christopher Whiteley. And then, Mr. Dykeman, while I was at the Clark Regional in an EMS meeting this morning, I received another letter from Chief Nathan Mulvey, who is the president of the Kentucky Fire Chiefs. Do I read that as well, or?
I put it in the record, and yeah, I guess you read it. Because,
Okay. And I received that via email at 10:30 a.m. this morning. Dear Honorable Mayor Joellen Reed, I first want to thank you for your time, as I know how busy you are. I'm writing to express my support for Fire Chief Chris Whiteley. Chief Whiteley is a respected leader in the fire service community throughout the Commonwealth, recognized for his professionalism, integrity, and commitment to best practices in fire department administration, including matters related to personnel management and ethical decision-making. I serve as the president of the Kentucky Fire Chiefs and as a state director with the Southeastern Division of the International Chiefs Association. In my 30-plus years within emergency services, I have found that the fire service has long been a profession where multiple generations of families dedicate their lives to public safety. It is a tradition built on deep-rooted values of service, mentorship, and expertise passed down through generations. I'm aware of some recent questions related to the ethics shown by Chief Whiteley, but it has been my experience that Chief Whiteley has demonstrated a clear and consistent commitment to ensuring that professional qualifications, merit, and ethical considerations are at the forefront of all hiring, promotions, and personnel decisions as related to the Winchester Fire Department. His approach to addressing the balance between tradition and modern workforce policy serves as a model for departments across the state. I would like to encourage the city of Winchester in its continued support of Chief Whiteley and his leadership. His contributions not only benefit your community, but also set a positive example for fire departments throughout the state. If you require any further information, please do not hesitate to reach out. Sincerely, Chief Nathan Mulvey, CFO, and he is located at the Fern Creek Fire EMS headquarters on Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky. So I will send these down to the clerk. And is there anyone else but BC or anybody that needs to say anything, or do you want us to move on? Okay, seeing no further comment, we will move on to new business, item 3, A through E.
Thank you.
Thank you. 3A, request for out-of-state travel for Lieutenant Matthew Moses and firefighter William Birch to travel to Indianapolis, Indiana for the FDTN live fire training camp from April 5 through 8, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Toole. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 3B, request for out-of-state travel for Building Inspector Robert Rice to attend the International Code Council Code Hearings, April 26th through May 4th, 2025 in Orlando, Florida. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. 3C, correspondence from Police Chief Travis Thomas on the request to remove 2-hour parking signs on East Broadway from Main Street to Highland. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cox. Any discussion?
Clarifying.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
We had a parking committee that's trying to free up some more parking places when we start the construction here on Main Street, so that's what this is to address. Is some more parking spaces there.
Okay, all in favor, aye.
Right.
Any opposed by like sign, motion carries. 3D, request from Diane Davis and Barbara Menifee, First Baptist Church, to close Washington Street between Burns Avenue and Maple Street on Saturday, April 12, 2025, from 3 to 5 p.m. for the community Easter egg hunt. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign, motion carries. 3E, request from Dr. Bruce Manley to the Winchester Clark County Planning and Zoning Commission regarding the first floor residential restriction in the historic district overlay in downtown Winchester. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign, motion carries. Madam Clerk, with your permission, I'm gonna skip over a moment to item 7, personnel orders. And let's go down to item 7D. I know we have several people here anxious to hear this. So if you'll read the personnel order, please, 7D.
An order promoting Wesley Craycraft from Police Officer 3 to Police Sergeant.
Okay, Chief, we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. It is my absolute pleasure tonight to request of the commission to promote Wes Craycraft from Police Officer 3 to Police Sergeant. Wes is one of our most senior patrolmen, been with us for a long time. You heard me speak at the last meeting about Wes and his employment here. Just to be completely transparent before the commission and for the public, this sergeant's process was done last fall. It was done by Chief Hall. We've had a list since that sergeant's process completed. Wes was number 2 on that list, and Sergeant Southwood was promoted when we did it. Captain Craycraft, Wes's father, was completely removed from that process, had nothing to do with it, stayed out of it entirely. And Captain Craycraft's here tonight to pin the sergeant's lapel pins on Wes. So he is absolutely part of this family. He is going to be a leader in this department for a long time, and we are thrilled to have him.
Congratulations, Wes. Let's take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? Joy, voice vote, please.
Commissioner Chenault,
I vote yes.
Commissioner Strode,
Yes.
Mayor Reed.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Tool.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like the motion carries. Looks like you're gonna get this promotion. Congratulations.
You could have
Welcome.
one sticky.
Don't hurt him. Don't you love how quiet it is, Wes? It gave me a cold chill. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations, one more time. Okay, let's go to item 4, ordinance for second reading. I'm going to ask that we defer this evening. I think all of us received an email this week from a young lady that was very concerned about part of the policy as it had to do with age on our playgrounds, because Stride, the handicapped organization, most of the people in that organization are adults, as Commissioner Strode just said, they're 18 all the way to up in the 50s. They do like to go to the parks and swing. They like to go down the slides. They go on field trips. They do picnics at the park and all those. So I'm going to ask the city manager if he will contact Mr. Darren Daggett with Stride and also Jeff Lewis at the parks and see if we can't clean the language up on that. So I'm gonna ask that this be deferred. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
that
we want our
certainly was
language
not
to-
the intention.
No, that was not the intention. And the lady that wrote to us said it was not the intention.
right.
She knew, but it does need to be cleared up. So let's, if you'll take that on and
I will.
let's clear it up and maybe get it on the next agenda. Okay? All right. City clerk, item 5, ordinance, first reading.
This is a summary and ordinance amending sections of ordinance number 2-2022 to amend section 6.5-51 nepotism. Complete copy of the ordinance may be reviewed at the office of the city clerk, 32 Wall Street, Winchester, Kentucky. I hereby certify that the foregoing caption is an accurate summary of the contents of this ordinance.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make this motion because this is basically all I was asking for 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so you're making the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tool. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Okay, let's go over to item 6, A through D. Madam Clerk,
An order approving.
A through E, excuse me. We had a change on the
Yeah.
agenda. Sorry, go ahead.
An order approving a contract with Palmer Engineering for engineering services for the Fifth Street Stream Restoration Project.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. 6B.
An order approving an agreement modification to the Martin Luther King Jr. Bridge replacement.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? This is what Mike explained to us a while ago. Yes, sir?
I was gonna say, on the, A that was approved there,
Uh-huh.
those fees will be paid via grant funds. There was $350,000 grant that was received as part of that stream restoration project, so those funds will come from grant proceeds.
Okay, you're talking about the Fifth Street, Fifth
Yeah,
Street.
on that Fifth Street.
Okay.
And then as well, if we move the, bridge project forward too, that hopefully we'll be able to be reimbursed for some of those, services out of grant proceeds.
Great, great. Thank you very much. All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 6C.
An order declaring certain city of Winchester property to be obsolete and surplus.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
So what do we do with like 70 leather chairs?
They could find them.
It's like they're at the church or anywhere.
Give them away, aren't we?
Okay.
6 of them today. Been advertising through the Association of Airlines and other agencies. That's been one.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
Good use.
All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 6D. This was laid on the table, correct?
Right. An order approving a bid proposal from the Allen Company for the Main Street Streetscape Project in the amount of $3,489,618.46.
These bids were opened yesterday, I believe. And again, as has just been stated, the Allen Company was the successful bidder. And the amount's just under $3.5 million, which is terrific news. And we're looking forward to getting this project moving. All in favor, let's see, I need to get a motion. Motion to accept the bid. Second, first, motion, I get excited, this is cool. Motion by Commissioner Strode, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault, any discussion? Let's do a voice vote on this one, it's a big project.
Commissioner Chenault,
I approve.
Commissioner Strode,
Yes.
Mayor Reed.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox,
No.
Commissioner Tool.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. And we have an amended, I think Joy laid these, no. you said these
Now,
out,
these are
everybody.
actually in the packet. It wasn't on the agenda.
It wasn't on the agenda. Okay. You want to read that, please, 6E?
An order appointing Regina Spencer to the Clark County Winchester Heritage Commission to fill the unexpired term of Paula Thomas, commencing immediately and expiring December 31st, 2026.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Tool. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Strode. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 7A through C, because we have done D.
In order reclassifying Olivia Hurthouse.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenault. Any discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed by like sign? Motion carries. Item 7B.
In order granting longevity salary increases to certain personnel.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Chenault. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Tool. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 7C.
In order terminating the employment of Thelma Stanford Crossing Guard.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Come on, people, you can vote for a crossing
Mayor
guard.
being a crossing guard.
Motion,
Sorry.
motion by Commissioner Strode. Who was
I'll
the
second.
second? Second by Commissioner Tool. Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, we're down to item number 8. Anybody sign up to speak?
Yes, ma'am. We have Paul Rogers.
Didn't see. Okay. And Joseph Smith. Okay, Mr. Rogers, come forward. That sounds fun. Mr. Rogers. Watch him on
Never heard
TV.
Thanks, thank you, good evening. I'm here tonight to ask you to prohibit the display of the Confederate flag at city festivals, including the Beer Chiefs Festival and the Daniel Boone Pioneer Festival. Let me start with a brief story about how I got here. It starts at the Pioneer Festival a year and a half ago. I took a break from my job as the jailer at the Kiwanis Jail and Bail and walked the length of Main Street checking out the booths. As I passed the courthouse, I stopped to listen to the mayor read a proclamation proclaiming, honoring Brandon Jones, a favorite son of Winchester, a man who had done much to make this community a better place, a black man. And as she read that proclamation, I could see behind her a plaque on the courthouse wall documenting the resolution on racial harmony, resolution passed jointly by the city and the county, regretting past wrongs against African Americans and declaring this community's, quote, opposition to all forms of racial discrimination. I continued down Main Street until I got near the end, and there the Sons of Confederate Veterans had their booth for the Pioneer Festival, the American flag proudly flying to the right, and the Confederate flag flying from the other corner of their booth. I was shocked that in this day and age, in this place, the Confederate flag is flown on Main Street. History is one thing, but to fly the flag, to stand behind it, it's unacceptable. So I resolved to seek change, and that's why I'm here. Since then, I've encountered a consistent response from those who support display of the Confederate flag at our festivals, that the First Amendment right to free speech requires the city to allow the flag to be flown. This is simply untrue. Many public entities have banned display of the flag, from the Kentucky State Fair to the Berea Spoonbread Festival, from the University of Mississippi to the state of South Carolina, from the National Park Service to the U.S. Department of Defense. It is clear that indeed government entities do have the ability to restrict the display of the flag. Why? Because it's not about free speech. It's about public speech. It's about government speech. It's about community speech. The city, the county, the Tourism Commission, and many other agencies work very hard to make these festivals a showcase of our community. They are uniformly recognized as signature events created to promote the unique character of our community. They reflect our values, and they are also uniformly assumed to be allowed, permitted, approved, and indeed owned by the local government. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled on this. In 2015, in a case involving the Sons of Confederate Veterans, the Supreme Court ruled that the Texas Department of Transportation has the right to refuse to allow display of the Confederate flag on license plates. Why? Those plates are Texas government plates. They display government speech, and Texas Department of Transportation does not support display of the Confederate flag, and neither should we. In closing, it is clear that indeed it is within your authority to make this change. You have the right to deny a booth to the Sons of Confederate Veterans if they insist on flying that flag. And because you have the right, you have the responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Appreciate it. Okay, next on the agenda is Joseph Smith, 345 Hamilton Street. Come on up, Mr. Smith.
I was in here 2 weeks ago and, Jason and, Brian came out and I'd like to hear what they got to say, what they got going or what they're going to do.
Jesse, are you gonna address this?
Yeah,
Can you come to the podium, please? I'm not gonna ask you for your name and address, okay?
Brian Sewell and I went out and with Mr. Smith and walked over his property and went over everything. And after Brian got to looking, he contacted the railroad and they actually have a drain that's running through there. And they're supposed to be sending somebody out to look at cleaning it out so that it actually drains from his property. As we kind of figured, there was probably a drain that was there once before, and it's just filled in over time. And with Mr. Smith wanting to clear his property out, we need to make sure to try to, that they maintain their spillways just like we have to. So, I know Brian's not here tonight, he had something to do, but we will be reaching out again to the railroad.
personally, I've got a big bad water problem. I want to either block it myself, which I've been told by you I can't, or there's a $10,000 fine. I'm just wondering why the railroad hasn't got a fine. That's shining water on my property. When Gary Stevens was here, was doing.
Now, Darren might have told you because he's an engineer, I don't know.
Well,
I'm not the engineer.
I don't have no restrictions. So what I want to know, can I build in that hole on my property?
Technically, we can't tell him he can't fill
I
it in,
can say we can't.
but if you start blocking it and it backs up on them, then they have something. We're hoping that. they
Mr.
want
Smith,
to-
let's ask our attorney.
Yeah,
He knows it legally, I don't. Mr. Dykeman?
Trying to work with them and everybody here, but you know, I'm when Darren Stevens was here, I heard on that portal up there. He called them over to the side, I don't know what happened. They never cleaned it, they should clean the whole rail down, like the water don't, the water don't where it's supposed to go and stay on my property.
Okay,
When's the
Mr.
last time the railroad's been out there, Mr. Smith? When's the last time the railroad's been out there to look?
You won't,
They've never been there.
The railroad has never shown up.
They contacted them. It's either we have to, do it or he's went over there himself, and they say, oh, it's good, there's nothing wrong. I mean, if there's nothing wrong, we're getting needles, we're getting diapers, everything you can imagine coming out.
Sure.
Gotcha.
I mean, our dog, we have a dog, and she runs down there, and plays on the, you know, 5 acres we've had.
I personally went over to the railroad, there was a different guy, I called him, and I started complaining what I got. I mean, personally, another thing I wanna reach out to is how many tires I get, and you drive around these subdivisions back here, a guy on, anyway, that's true, where we cut down. But anyway, guy said 4 tires out there, hey, the.
WMU.
Not gonna take them.
Yeah, it's been there for 2 months at least, they've been sitting there on the side of the road.
I personally think there should be something.
Can we take a look
Find
at
out about
the tires, Becky?
Huh?
What's the address?
General vicinity.
Huh?
Can you give, Mr. Smith, where are the tires?
They was on
Roland
they've
Avenue?
been there for, ever since snow.
Okay, our code enforcement will go out and take a look at that, okay?
Yeah, and that's another thing, I drove on Muddy Creek, that there was like 6 or 7 tires I could count, and I even told the railroad guy that, and he's like, well, what do you want me to do about it? I'm like, it flows right down to my property.
They think there's no, they don't have to do that.
I've got 10 tires in that bank that they, you know, cut out the drain water.
And we are talking about CSX, correct?
Yes. I mean, it's sad that you pay taxes on that property, you can't use it.
Exactly. Mr. Dykeman, comments?
Well, just that,
You might want to speak up a little bit,
I
Mr.
think
Smith.
we can write something to CSX. Historically, we've had a very difficult time getting CSX to do what they need to do, whether it be track cleaning, cleaning out other places, cleaning rubbish out. We've had homeless camps.
Well, what I'm saying, just like the guy in Florida, visitors came up,
They're from Jacksonville.
he said the water flow's fine. And I'm like, so I turned it into Jesse to give the diameter. And that was probably a month and a half ago.
Probably came in the middle of a drought. It's, well, they come in the middle of a drought, tell you.
Well, they don't see the water.
Right.
No, I've got pictures, Jesse's been out there, and I can show you how high it gets.
Okay, Mr. Dykeman, why don't we do a letter to CSX under
They will eventually, I mean,
your signature?
they
legal-
will eventually do something, but not, I don't know. I mean, we've had.
Trust me, we're waiting on them on several things.
We've had, they're the railroad. They. So do we, as the city. You're paying taxes on some of our property that we can't get them to do stuff.
Damn.
You can't.
You can cut this tree right there.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, but we can get fined 10,000 if we lock it, come on.
See the tree right there and that right there.
I came out there.
You did?
Yes. I live there.
I'm not real, I've only lived here about 5 years now.
Well, let's draft a letter to CSX. And what would be next,
We'll send them pictures.
and send the photos and tell them it's their responsibility to clean it up.
Yep.
Can we,
As soon as possible.
is there a way, Mr.
You
Dykeman?
want these back?
Guys, wait just a minute. Mr. Dykeman, is there a way we can put a kind of fine on that? Or I don't think legally there is there?
They are immune.
They're immune.
Public. They're a federal utility.
Just asking.
And you get a federal judge. Exactly. Yeah, it is.
Well, let's do a letter and get it out this week if we can.
They eventually will.
Oh, the
or
trash.
have in the past. Followed up and done what we asked, but they don't do it the first time.
Or no?
On Jackson.
Why can't you turn
Yeah.
it to a federal, so why
Yeah,
can't you
it-
turn it over to a federal judge?
Well, let's ask Mr. Dykeman.
What's that?
Commissioner Chenault has a question.
If they federal, why can't you turn it over to a federal judge?
Same thing applies though. The federal judge got to apply the law and it's a congressional action that has made them essentially immune.
Using our property.
Well, let us try the letter, see what happens, and then we'll wait a couple
We'll
weeks,
send a photo so they can.
photos, and let's send it.
Do you want us to keep those? Do you want them back?
Let's send them certified mail, so they have to sign for it.
If he's gonna write it, he's right.
ASP.
I was.
Right there with the railroad. Water comes in, the trash and stuff, if you look real close, I can zoom it out, but that fills up with all kinds of stuff.
Okay,
And then you compare this picture with
Right.
the water down. And personally, everything thinks that got a pond down there, it's not, it's a sinkhole,
right.
because it drains like 4 days.
Okay.
Well, let's try the letter, see what happens, probably nothing. But let's try, and then I'll ask Mr. Dykeman to wait a couple weeks and follow up to whomever you send that letter to, and he and the city manager can work together, and we'll just keep calling them ourselves too. Maybe we'll aggravate them enough that they'll come and do something. Is that, other than that, I don't know what else to tell you.
But actually what Joe, Mr. Smith was saying.
Right.
About Jesse, they had their dumpsters and everything was gonna clean it up. And he's like, I'm like, where y'all going? Oh, we'll be back. Couple days, they said, we're come back clean it. We need more equipment.
And they never came, never returned.
But if Darian said I would be charged, and I'm pretty sure you told me that same thing.
Well, she said she didn't, but Darren did. Darren, I'm sure Darren did, because he
But
knows.
you told me if I channeled water, it'd be a $10,000 fine.
Not me, Darren.
Okay, so you're saying, because I don't have any, so you're saying I can fill them in my sink?
I don't know, you don't know, but
It's my
you say
problem.
she didn't.
All right, let's try the CSX letter. Let's let Mr. Dykeman follow up in 2 weeks to the person he's gonna address it to. Ask them if they received it and what are they gonna do to resolve it.
Yeah.
And then we'll try and go from there. Be sure we have your all's phone numbers and you got them? Okay. 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 Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we'll work on it. Thank you. Okay, and anyone have anything for closed session?
I didn't thank the, chief for putting up,
No, for closed session.
oh, I'm sorry.
Anything for, anything for closed session? Anybody? Mr. Dykeman,
No, ma'am.
city manager?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so we're not gonna adjourn to closed session. We're not gonna call the meeting back into order. All right, let's do our comments. This is gonna be you, Joe. From the mayor, commissioner, city manager, and city attorney. We will start with you, Commissioner Chenault.
I would just like to thank the chief for putting up a camera at the corner of Washington and Burns, and also at, Elm. I'm kind of jealous because his look better down in Elm Street. I thank you for that.
And Joe, I went over there and parked the other day and watched traffic just to see, and they are obeying that sign
Oh, it's
at this
helpful.
point.
You just went right by me and I waved at you and you just kept right on going. That's
I'm
all
sorry, I'll wave the next.
That's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Strode.
I would just like to remind everybody to be very patient when we start the high side project. We're working on the parking situation every week, aren't we, Whitney? Really trying to come up with some extra parking places throughout the downtown to help everybody out. Please support these businesses. They need our support during this project, and it's always better to shop local, eat local, shop local. So I would encourage you all to do that.
That it?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, Commissioner Cox.
I just want to say congratulations to the lady cards at the high school that should have won the other night, but, fell short. It's amazing that they never call walking anymore. They're still, we need to be very proud of them. The boys play in the finals of the region tomorrow night in go-kart.
And the pep band
Yeah,
got the award too, for the first time they give award to the band.
Yeah.
And our pep band got it, which I thought was wonderful.
Yeah.
First time.
That's
Yeah.
neat.
I was just gonna say the same thing for ERC Hoops. Congrats to them. That's
Okay.
it.
Mr. Dykeman,
Nothing.
city manager?
No, ma'am.
Mayor, yes, two things. Basically, I'm gonna say the same thing everybody else said. Congratulations to the girls, team, Lady Cards, and I also want to thank Chief Whiteley and Chief Thompson for organizing a tribute to our girls by leading them in with lights and sirens the other night after the game. And that's greatly appreciated, and I know the kids appreciate it. Also yesterday, I know at some point during the day that, city manager, the deputy clerk, and somebody else went out to the fire station. Who else? There's three.
Carrie.
And
Carrie.
Carrie, sorry, Carrie. And I went out later, we just went out to welcome the 7 new first responders and, a great group. I asked them why they chose Winchester. And, they said they like the stations, they like the people, they like the work environment. And, I asked them, I think 3 were from Winchester, 1 from Bourbon County, 1 from Montgomery County, and I'm not sure, I think I got most of them. But, young, ready to go, all fired up, and it was exciting to go out and welcome them, into our fire department. So, with nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner
Second.
Cox, second by Commissioner Poole. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you everyone for being here. Greatly appreciated. Stand up where I'm gonna sit. Oh, that's-